Arena! Hey, Christian with another Raid Shadow Legends videos, and this morning, guys, the Plarium team just announced a new Fragment fusion. Let's take a look at it to see if his at least has a kit that make us want to do it, because the last fusion we got, Gretel, doesn't seem to be a very popular champion right now. She was a little bit too much overwhelming. So I have a little bit more faith on this new champion. Let's take a look in it. Oh, this champion over here, Stokk the Broken. This is the looking on his avatar. It's an ogre. Let's take a general view on his looking. He's holding two potions, I think looks like poison potions. He was like sentenced to death by the looking of the the looking of this wood around his neck. Seems like a medieval sentence of death. And one more thing, the surrounding of the ogre faction normally is not that one, so they got a new surrounding just for this champion. What is pretty cool. And this is the most important thing, his kit. The kit is what makes the champion worth or not worth for most of the players. Some likes the looking or the cosmetic of the champion, the aesthetic visual, but most of the players just care about what he is able to do or not to do. And judging by the general view of this champion, he seems like a useful one, very useful one. Let's take a look. His name is Stokk the Broken. He's from the Ogre faction, a legendary support champion from Green Affinity, Spirit Affinity. He will be a Fragment fusion. And let's take a look on each one of their skills. The first skill, it's Doom Flasks. Attack one enemy. Each hit has 25% of chance of increasing the duration of all poison and HP burn debuffs on the target by 1 turn. And when bucket, this damage and this chance of doing it increases. Interesting A1, not very powerful, but can be used on boss that you use poison and HP burn to kill. Seems interesting for mechanics around Ice Golem, Dragon and things like that on hard dungeon that you use to kill. It's not an AoE, so on Hydra must not be that much good, this A1. But for Ice Golem and Dragon must be a cool mechanic to increase the duration of the poisons. You can use in other Doom Tower bosses, but mostly Dragon and Ice Golem, this A1 could be a good thing. The A2, Volatile Mixture. 5 turns cooldown. When booked can be reduced to 3. Okay. Attack all enemy 2 times. The first hit instantly activates all poison and HP burn debuff on all enemies and all continuous heal on all allies. Interesting. These skills maybe can make him a solo champion. With this skill, he can be like a version of champions that solo dungeons, for example, like Theodore or Corvus, because he can put the continuous heal, detonate the poisons, the HP burn, heal himself, and he cycles to that. The second hit has a 75% of destroying each target's max HP by 3% for each poison and HP burn debuff activated on them by this skill. Stacks up to 60% and fills the turn limit of all allies by 20%. It's a lot of effects for one skill. So this skill make him viable for another bosses like Scarab, because the Scarab takes good damage of poison. And the HP burn doesn't do that much damage, but the poison does. And you're gonna burn his max HP very fast because the amount of continuous use and HP burn you can land on a champion. So these make him this skill make him really viable to Scarab boss on Doom Tower. Also, he's still crazy good for Dragon hard and Ice Golem hard. He can maybe even solo these dungeons. Let's take a look at the A3. Vengefire Flute. When booked the first skill, when booked it's 100% of chance of doing it. The A3 Vengefire Flood. When bucket, 5 turns cooldown. When bucket, 3 turns cooldown. Okay, so both his skills are 3 turns cooldown, so you can cycle to them, not very slowly. When booked, both his skills have 100% of chance of doing what they are meant to do. So let's take a look on the effects. Attack all enemies has 80% of chance when booked 100% of placing 2 5% poisons. Debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. If any target are under a HP burn, places 3 poisons debuff and a weaken. Interesting. Debuff on them for 2 turns instead. Also place 2 continuous heal buffs on all allies for 2 turns. Interesting, he's a champion that has a mechanic around HP burn, but he does not place HP burn. So he needs to be paired with someone, maybe the new Harsha that they just revamped. So it's interesting to put weaken, and because another champions are going to do more damage. And this champion in 9th Pharaoh set with this skill, now it's able to be a good damage dealer for Hydra. He can pumps the damage of your team on Hydra because of this skill in 9th Pharaoh set. The amount of poisons and the weaken maybe can give you a good amount of damage out of it. So interesting mechanic, can make you survive through the continuous use and things like that. So a little better mechanic from a champion. 3 poisons and a weaken, it's a lot of debuffs for just one skill. And also the continuous use. So he's like a different version of Badelkazar, this A3. The only thing that I didn't like is he doesn't places the HP burn, and he has mechanics around it, so he needs to be paired with someone with HP burn. Let's take a look at the passive, Rigged to Blow. The damage inflicted by poisons and HP burns debuffs will ignore block damage and unkillable. That's interesting, even for arena. Whenever allies attack enemies with destroyed max HP, increase the damage dealt by 10%. Okay. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, only one will activate. And he has a 20% increased ally speed aura in all battles. Okay. Judging by the kit of this champion, he seems like a champion that is very viable on PvE content. He might solo dungeons like Dragon and Ice Golem. He might be very, very destructive in bosses like Scarab on the Doom Tower. He can be placed on a Hydra team in 9 pieces of Pharaoh set and pumps the damage of your team very high. Because of the continuous heal, he can also be placed in 9 pieces of protection, because he might be able to pump your team damage through the continuous heal mechanic. Paired with champions like the other Ogre faction that was a fusion before. I forgot his name. Opardin. The Opardin and this champion together might be really interesting because the A2 of this champion proccing the continuous heal and the Opardin giving the amount of continuous heal also this champion, and the turn meat pumping all the time might be a very interesting mechanic to see together. So Opardin and Stokk can be a duo for something. He also needs someone to put HP burn. The only thing that I think that should be on his kit is the HP burn, that he could benefit a lot, but he does not have. Oh, come on. He looks like he has Dragon Fire from Game of Thrones potions. He should put HP burn from Dragon Fire potions. Okay, so in general, I liked the champion. From the kit, the visual seems really cool too. Not the craziest one, but really cool. A new background surrounding him from the Ogre faction, which is also cool. Meaning now we have the second faction with a different background, probably. The first one, it was the Barbarians with the frozen surrounding. And now we have the secondary one for the Ogre faction too. Interesting. Maybe they launch more champions with new backgrounds for other factions. Seems like interesting kit. Very, very, very powerful on PvE content, I guarantee that. And on PvP content, because of this passive, he might be a champion that we can use on PvP, taking advantage of the blessing lethal dose. Because the damage of the poisons using lethal dose is a very good damage. So maybe block damage in poisons and taking the HP out of the enemy, max HP through the poisons detonation and the HP burn detonation, ignoring block damage and unkillable could be interesting thing. For example, with this champion on the team, you might kill Siegfried with poisons through his passive, what seems like a really cool mechanic. So we need to test, we need to see the combos. He on PvP content, he does not seem a champion that's going to be doing anything alone. So everything depends on the combo you're gonna use. So there is a lot of options around the poisons and HP burn that we can play around him. For the PvE content, Opardin and some HP burn champions might be a really cool trio or duos to this champion. Definitely a fusion you should not skip. Do it. Do it because he might help you a lot in the early game, in the mid game, and in the end game. So prepare yourselves, we're gonna have a fusion to do. As always guys, if you like this kind of content, do not forget to hit the like button. It helps us a lot. And one more thing. As always, have a wonderful day, and remember, it's all about arena.